Hello, everyone. You are in for such a treat today because I have Prathi here, an amazing social media strategist, consultant, repurpose queen here. Okay. and and we're going to be talking a little bit more around how Prathi is using her YouTube channel and really leveraging it to make marketing a little bit more easier for her, right? And so, Prathi, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of
Um,
course.
if you don't mind, totally take a few seconds and explain all the amazing things that you do and how you help people.
Oh my God, if I had an hour, I could explain all the amazing things I do, but we only have a couple minutes. But like you said, I'm a social media strategist, and Instagram specialist too. I love liberating business owners and solopreneurs, especially from the burnout of social media by helping them create more sustainable social media practices so that they can get back to business and get back to doing the things they love instead of worrying about all the noise in social media world. So that's what I do. That's on the high level, but yeah, I love working with people like you. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what more to say, but that's like the gist of it.
Right. Okay, good. So,
Yeah.
and so speaking of like really like liberating people from like this social media burnout that can really happen, I love how you have like found these amazing ways to like repurpose. You have your own methodology around repurposing and giving content a new life too.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to so before we get into that, I would love for you to kind of paint the picture for us here and just let me know like what were you doing before you added YouTube and what made you maybe like want to start doing a YouTube channel and adding it into your whole marketing ecosystem?
Yeah. That is a great question. So you know context of like how it was and now how it is. Since I said, I've been an Instagram specialist, Instagram has been my main marketing platform for more than 10 years. But specifically, I love Instagram for what it is. Like, it's just very visual and like, you can create all kinds of different types of formatted content. And I've gotten most of my clients through there specifically. But again, it's more like short form, right? It's like people didn't put like longer educational videos, longer,
Mhm.
um, you know, deep content on Instagram. Yes, there's a way to do it, but I felt very limited in just like thinking short, 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 short. Like, how can I make it simple, short, and easy to consume and that kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
So before YouTube came into play, that was my main platform. I actually used to create content for that and then like create emails, then create TikToks. So I was always starting with Instagram first.
Mhm.
And then I did start email marketing a few years ago, and so that's been great, but I still felt like I always took Instagram and then created an email from it, not the other way around. So I was trying to find like a way to have something that had a longer lifespan, right? Like Instagram post people don't go on Instagram to look at previous content. They may like scroll if they come and follow you or if they check out your profile. But I mean, how deep do they actually go? It's hard to kind of go deeper because unless your, like little square shows what that piece is about.
Yeah.
So I wanted a way for people to find my content in like a place where it lived longer and my content was more evergreen. So
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm already making videos, I'm pretty comfortable making videos, and so I thought, why not start on YouTube and like just kind of see how I can kind of incorporate that and have that be my long form content like hub basically. And if people want to go deeper, and it was a way for me to show more like tutorials, things like that. And so I
Mhm.
started with you back in March, I think. But I had posted a couple videos last year, but I didn't have a strategy. Like it was just like, okay, let me just put something up and talk about something. And I did not have a plan or strategy or anything until I started in the Low Lift Club back in March. So now it's kind of the other way around. So I talked about how I was. Now I've seen myself using my YouTube videos as a starting point. So like taking those and then creating other pieces from that. And it's increased my efficiency, I think, in just coming up with multi-platform like pieces of content. So now I'm able to be all over the place, kind of. My two main platforms are YouTube and Instagram. And I'm trying to like now use, post to Threads and post to LinkedIn and things like that. So YouTube is like the starting point, and then I net out and I branch out into all these other places. So that's where I am now. And it's actually not gotten more like harder. It's actually been a lot easier, which you would think it's like maybe the opposite way when you add platforms, but it's actually been like completely opposite. It's been much easier. So yeah, that's how it is now.
That's so cool because just like how you said, it's like I think there is power without overwhelming anyone that's like watching. There is power and value in being in on other social media channels where it makes sense, right? But not for the reason of like not to the extent of like burning you out.
Yep.
And I really think that you've mastered this way of taking your long form content and not just clipping clips and putting it on Threads, on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, right? You've really given your content like another life, right? And it all came from like maybe like one or two YouTube videos, right? And so I would love it if you could I guess what is your thought process behind like doing that, right? Because typically people think oh, I'm going to repurpose my YouTube video. I'm just going to like clip it and I'm going to add it to whatever. How do you typically end up thinking about this and like how that has contributed to marketing being a little bit more easier for you?
Yeah. And I just want to say, like, I'm also a solopreneur, so I don't have a virtual assistant. I don't have a YouTube editor at this time. I don't have like those extra people. So I just wanted to let everyone know that that's how I work right now. So you don't think that I have all these people like doing things for me. So I'm trying to figure it out too. But now, like I said, I've kind of found this really workflow that has worked really well for me. And because I'm already comfortable on Instagram, it's not that hard for me at this point. So, it may not be that easy at the beginning, but I'll share my workflow so you can see like how it goes. So you've helped us with like, hey, how do we take that YouTube transcript, right? Like from our video, download it, get the transcript, create the description, optimize it, and all that kind of stuff. So I start from there. I take the transcript of the YouTube video, and then I do my YouTube optimization stuff, getting like the keywords and things like that. And then I tell, I'm using AI, by the way. Sorry, forgot to mention that. I'm using AI a lot more these days, and not for just coming up with ideas, but in this whole repurposing workflow. And it's really, really, really working well. So anyways, I take the transcript, I go to ChatGPT, or you can try in any other AI, Claude or Gemini or whatever you want, but you can ask it to then create an email for you that summarizes what this video is about. So you can send it to your email newsletter that week saying, hey, like this is what this video is about. Go check it, later. So that gives me a good summary in my own like personality and words, and I mess around with it a little bit, but it gives me like a starting point. So then there's that email done, right, for your newsletter, marketing done, and then link to the video, and then that's it, right? So then people get to go watch the whole thing. So then that's one thing. Then another thing I do is I actually tell it for Threads. I'm like, give me a thread style post. I think that's, I don't have the prompt with me right now, but I can I'm also going to create like a video where I'm walking through this. So I think that would be
Oh,
easier.
how fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but I say like give me thread style post, like an Instagram thread style post where you can say include like a poll or create a bullet point list or something that like gives it some variety, because we know on threads right now, let's say polls work well. Like when you're giving a checklist or like a poll, like a bullet pointed list kind of thing over multiple threads, that works well, things like that. So I know what works well on threads, and I just say do it that way. Give me like a thread based on this transcript where it talks about like the high level how to something or whatever. So that way I have a threads now, and then I go publish that in Metricool. Metricool is the planner I use, and then I put that there. Then next I say, okay, so if I were to come up with let's say I do different types of reels on Instagram. I do like a talking to camera reel. So what I would do in that case is I would say in ChatGPT, I'd say, give me a 45-second reel that highlights the top level questions that came from this YouTube video or transcript, or that I answered. Let's say I did an FAQ, a video was an FAQ, or an Ask Me Anything. So give me those top level questions that I asked or that people asked, and then give me like a little bit of a script for 45 seconds that talks about these things. And it literally spit me out like that much. And when I recorded it, I was like, oh my God, like it is perfect. Like it was just right. And then, it was a great starting point for doing the talking head videos. Or you could even use your email. Sometimes I've done that too. Like I've literally taken my email, used that as a script for my talking to camera reel, and I said that, and then I pointed people to my YouTube video, right? So you can do that as well. So there's a variety, like you can just play around with it and see what works well for you. Then if I wanted to do, let's say, a reel with like text on it, again, that just depends on, like, let's say I had a quote in the middle of my video. Like if I remembered what that quote was, of course I'd write that and then kind of like point people to my caption and ask them to, go watch the full video. Hey, I made a video, go look at it. So everything is kind of pointing to that video, right? So you literally that week can create 5 pieces of content for Instagram, let's say. So a talking head reel, a plain reel with text on it and some music maybe. Yep. And then you could even do a carousel, right? An Instagram carousel where you put those tips in a very like simple visual for people to like kind of get the high level ideas. And then again, go watch the video. So you're not giving everything. You want people to go watch the YouTube video. So you just give the highlights, and then you could literally create all these posts with just the transcript. That's what I'm trying to say, is like the transcript is the starting point for everything. And that's kind of how I do it, really. So I'm trying to mix it up. I don't take word for word. I may switch things up a little bit. And I'm, again, comfortable with like visuals on Instagram. So if you're not comfortable with visuals, like, use videos that you've already captured. We call them B-rolls, right? Like, so like if you have something of you sitting on a couch, drinking coffee, working in your workplace, like things like that, anything related to the video is better. But if you have something of you doing something in your element, like personal wise, life wise, like lifestyle wise, or even business wise, you can use that as a like a layer to add on in the back. So that's what I would recommend. That keeps it simple. So really using what you already have and then just layering a little bit more of that video highlight in each of the stuff. So if you can use that whole week for like just talking about what you did in that video and then pointing people to the video, I think you're golden. You're done. Like that post is done.
Oh my gosh. I love that, because that aligns. So, I mean, shocker, it aligns so much with like what to like everything that I teach too, right? But you do it like specifically for this Instagram thing, to where I say treat every YouTube video like it's like a mini launch, right? And you would pour your energy into, because like think about it, people are spending so much time and energy making these videos, but then they just
leave it alone. It's like gone.
Leave it alone.
Yeah. No, you can do so much.
Yes.
I need to do more. I must say though, I need you to do more. Like I feel like I don't necessarily always point people to the video. Sometimes I just maybe ask an engagement question like, "Hey, what do you think? Do you know, can you relate?" But it doesn't have to be that way. Like I think it's okay because the people who want to dive deeper will dive deeper and they'll go watch it. So just tell them like it's there, they can go watch it. You can do it in stories too, right? And then so you can mix it up. But yeah, I agree, take advantage of the great content you created and go push people to it. I know you do a great job of that. I see you all the time on Threads, on LinkedIn, pushing out your YouTube videos. So every time I see Jamar, I'm like, I need to do mine too. So let me go post something.
Yeah, it's so funny because I think about it as like I think people come to me and they think that I'm just like literally, I'm like, you should be on YouTube or bust, like anything, like you, and it's like, no, and you're the same way probably to where you like, it's so holistic, right? It's like,
Yeah.
it's everything connects together,
Together. Yeah.
right? Everything connects together, everything is integrated with each other. And so I'm just using a platform strategically so that
Yes.
I can also leverage the other ones strategically.
Yeah. And you're doing a great job. Like, I mean, everybody has their own way of doing it. You do it different from me. I do it different from some other one. Like, I think you found your way too. And again, like I get inspired by you and what you do. So, you know, like it's really cool to see how different people use it. And as long as it feels good to you, like that flow works well, keep doing it. Like, don't ignore that feeling of like, oh, this was easy. Like it should feel easy. It shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, that's so great. I have a question here from Naomi from Leaving Well here. They're asking where are you finding your main source of engagement is coming from once you're doing all of the repurposing via platform?
Okay, so my main form of engagement has actually for the longest time in Instagram stories, to be honest. I've gotten most of my clients through DMs and stories. I don't get a lot of engagement on my actual posts. I mean, I just don't. I don't have a bunch of 100 people commenting on them. I don't have like if you think about like business owners and who I actually work with, like they're too busy to go up commenting on people's posts all the time, right? And every post. So, I like to stay active in stories. So, if I'm repurposing, people will mention, "Hey, I saw your post." But they won't like necessarily say anything on the post. So, but I know they've interacted with it. So, when I repurpose, I've noticed not only repurposing, but anytime, most of my engagement has come in my DMs and stories. That's just how my business has been. I see a lot of engagement on Threads too, right now. So that is so simple and text based. I feel like people find it easier somehow to like leave comments and just say what they want to say. So I've noticed that too. So
yeah, if you don't mind me adding something extra too, because when you I feel like same thing for me. Like it's always like in my stories. It's always my stories and DMs, but also I take little things as engagement too. Like even when people like heart or they react to the story, like that stuff matters. That stuff matters so much. Well, at least to me, shoot. I mean, I don't know, but it matters to me because it starts building that kind of connection as well. And then when they reply, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And like I'm starting to add in even more conversations. And it's so funny because like Instagram has like so many ways for people to communicate and interact, right? And so depending on that kind of like your channel, I mean your profile, how people interact with you is different, right? And so there are some people who have comments like bananas, you know what I'm saying? But it don't really happen for me. I mean, I think sometimes I get some comments and stuff, but normally it's like I get people in my stories, like really reacting to my stories and stuff. But honestly, that's where I spend most of my time.
Same. Yeah, same. I agree. And just to on that note of repurposing, I'm repurposing so much right now. In this last week, I was promoting my community and my membership this whole week because I knew I wasn't giving a push as I needed to. And so I thought, let me do this every quarter where 1 week I'm just pushing my membership. So this last week I actually used a majority, maybe 70% of my content was reused, like actually reused, like videos and reused carousels and like graphics. And then I just changed up a little bit maybe at the beginning, and that's it. And then some other new content, like just to kind of stand out, right? And it's been great and easy for me. Yeah, maybe my results from it or the people who enrolled weren't as much as I thought, but it was very easy for me to execute. And I wanted to try that and trial it and all that kind of stuff because I speak on repurposing and I speak on that. I'm like, why can't you use it for a launch too? Of course you can. Like, because all that content is relevant still. And you want to get your audience's attention. And again, the people who are qualified and ready, they will listen and they will do what they need to do to, like, they can hear it again and they'll still like buy from you, right? So
Yes.
I did that and it was super simple. I did my emails and I was able to like do my social posts very easily. And I was able to do a live last week on YouTube despite all this, right? Like, so it doesn't have to be that burnt out launch every single time. You can make it work. So again, I repurposed all my content. So it was like easy breezy launch.
I loved it, and I also enjoyed watching your launch too, because I enjoyed watching you talk about the Chai Social Club. It was just so great just to see you. I don't know. I think I just like when you launch, I guess.
Yeah, and I don't think we do it that often. Sometimes, and not we, but me, I don't. And I'm like, I need to talk about this more. So it's just more for me to stay accountable to myself and be like, listen, you need to talk about this stuff like more. And so I just said this week I'm gonna do it, and I just did it. So,
Yeah.
but it was easy for me. That's what I was trying to say, is that and I use like a lot of my YouTube content too. And so because I have that, it was very easy.
Yeah, so I want to hit on this just real quick with Shauna. Shauna says that she was ready to leave Instagram and do YouTube only, and I was like, no. I literally remember having a call with her and she was like, I'm done with Instagram, going to YouTube. And I was like, wait a minute, that is not how this works. That's not how any of this works. You are going to hate this if you put so much pressure on this evergreen platform. And so I was able to kind of talk her off of the ledge. But it's one of those things to where the goal is to make the marketing easier, feel more low lift, right? And figure out what your workflow and your process is. And so, and as you were saying, Prathi, like it feels a little bit more easier with going from a long form and then refreshing things with the more shorter lifespan type of platforms too. And so because everything is all integrated, it all, and you can position to where it all can either go towards that YouTube video, or it can all go towards what that lead magnet is to get people into the funnel. But like really at the end of the day, all trails lead to the same thing.
Yeah, and then you touched on the whole holistic thing, and I think that's important too. So if you're not working with like a holistic like viewpoint and perspective, it will feel like weird, and you will want to probably leave a platform because they're just not all working together in that alignment, right? You're sounding different in one, you're doing something completely different in another. I mean, it's okay to a certain extent, but they're all like using each other to do something, right? So I think if you feel that way, maybe just drawing out that high level picture, just for your own like visual sake. It's like, okay, how are these channels connected? Like, what am I doing on YouTube versus what am I doing on Instagram? And so it was good that you talked to her, because you're right. Like, you don't need to let it completely go. And I think she's found it easier now as well, if I'm not mistaken, Shauna. Like, you're now like trying to see how to like make it easier on yourself. And I can see that too. I see you doing that, especially like in stories. And so, you know, there's always a way you can make it work together. But I think having that picture, like that visualization is like, oh, now I know why it's like disconnected and why I'm like, you know, feeling this need to like completely let go of this platform. Because I think a lot of people think, let's say Instagram has to be aesthetic. Instagram has to, like, you have to post every day. And, you know, all those myths that like you've heard for the last, what, 7-8 years that you feel like you need to do. It was like that maybe before, but it's definitely not anymore. So there's ways you can leverage your other marketing channels like YouTube to, and your content, the great stuff you're creating there, to like make it easier on these other short form places. So yeah.
Yeah. And so before we talk about, well, how are we making YouTube work? Like, what is going on here? I want to, because I forgot to mention this near the beginning. If at the end of this live, I am going to be giving away either a free YouTube audit or $197 off of the Low Lift Club. Let me know which one you think is the one that you want to do, and I'll figure out which one I want to give away. Leave a comment, do Low Lift Club or audit in the chat, and we'll figure that out later on. But with you, Prathi, one of the things that I think is so cool about your whole journey with this thing is we started with you making pre-recorded videos, right? We started with that. And then you had transitioned to then we started doing the YouTube live challenge in the club. And that came from a strategy Q&A call with everyone, where everyone was like, I don't want to edit.
Yep. The start of it all.
And I was like, okay, well, you know, the other way that we do this is by going live. And everyone was like, oh, say more.
Yeah.
And then we all wanted to do it together. And so we did. So here I am. Y'all put me to work, and I made the YouTube live challenge, and now we have it. And like you've done about what, 7 videos live so far, I want to say.
Did I do 7? Yes. I was supposed to have 8, but I did 7. No, I did 7. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you don't mind, tell me, how did it feel when you were editing videos versus now when you are going live? And I want people to really understand that there are so many ways for you to leverage YouTube. You don't have to do the whole traditional editing videos, because I want them to hear like both sides from someone who has done their share of editing the videos for YouTube, and then also choosing to go live.
Yeah. So 1 second, I'm going to tell my little AI camera to stop moving when I move. Okay, there we go. Okay. Because it was like going down, and I
love it.
Yeah. So I started with pre-recording back in March till May. I was able to create 4 videos, I believe. So 2 a month. That was my goal. And it was good. I would say, like, based on your you know, how you helped us like kind of figure out how to use Airtable and plan things out. Like, it was a great starting structure, and the script template and everything. That was great to help me like get that together. But then summer hit, and something happened to me personally in my family, and then I fell off the boat, right? Like, I couldn't pre-record, I couldn't do anything. So then 2 months I hadn't recorded anything, although I had like something planned out. And so that just made me think of like the stuff I needed to do in order to get those videos out, right? Like, I had to figure out a day to record, meaning like I had to do that. Plus then after that, I had to go edit and add in all of my little things, like in between, like the video, stock video. And so it just made me a little bit like, oh God, like I gotta do it. And then came that call, and we're like, let's do live, because I've done lives super comfortable talking, as you can see. Like, I don't mind doing that. And so, and you gave that permission to do that. And I felt like, okay, like, let's just go for it. And you said, no, you don't have to like necessarily edit. So I said, okay, fine, like, let's go for it. And so, as soon as you kind of set that challenge out and you had a structure for that challenge too, which was amazing. And we just, that one, 2 hours of just planning those lives and all that stuff. Oh my God. Like in that, like I planned out 8 videos and got like the thumbnails up, and like, it was just so fast, right? Like versus each of those things would take a little bit more time. I feel like it's not that it can't be done or I shouldn't do it. So, but this just felt more like my kind of flow. So I went for it. So I created 7 videos versus it would have been only maybe a 6. If everything went well every month, then I would have, done 6, right? Versus each week I committed to myself to just go live and talk about what I already knew and what I've already talked about previously, but in different ways. Again, repurposing my knowledge, really repurposing what I already had. So I've done master classes and things like that before. I just used a lot of my content from before as well. So I have always now, like this year, I've had this shift of like, how can I reuse my knowledge, reimagine what I already know and say it in a different way? And you've also made that possible, because I'm like, every YouTube video had to be new. No, it doesn't have to be fully new. I've seen you do it. I've seen you talk about the same thing in different videos in different ways. I was like, like that's the way we need to think about doing things, like, because people need to keep hearing it. That's the point, right? So yeah, it was so easy like to do the lives. And again, you gave us a framework to how to optimize it after. And then, you told us, hey, you don't need to like edit anything. And again, people who want to dive deep will go into those videos and watch. If they're not right at that time, at least it's living on the YouTube world and people can hopefully search and find it. And so I'm seeing that change too. My videos are showing up in YouTube search. And so I'm looking at those things. So, and I'm for the right things, the right like questions and keywords. So it's really cool to like see, just by doing the lives, like this improvement has happened too. Just not only in my workflow, but in what it's supposed to result in, like people actually finding my videos. So yeah, I mean, I think that's my success has always been on not necessarily, okay, I got money or I got clients per se. It's always been on like, can I keep going with this? And can I stay with it for the long run? Because I'm not like the 20s and my 30s. I have kids, I have other things too. So my success isn't necessarily always defined in the same way as, let's say, someone who's like hustling and doing stuff. And I'm not saying you or anybody else is doing that, but I'm just saying like my success is very different, like the way I see success. So this is success for me. This is like, I was able to put up 7 videos in 2 months and, versus much less. And I was able to do it without feeling burnt out, because then my burnt out gets taken out on my kids, my family, and all that. And that's not what I want. So this has made it doable and achievable. And I'm like proud of myself, honestly. So
yes, like, and your videos are being found in search, which is
that's a great thing. So
great thing, especially with such a this is a long game type of strategy when it comes to YouTube, right? Like I'm not trying to say you join YouTube, you put out 4 videos, you're gonna get a client. You know what I'm saying? But it's because just like how we have really structured this whole conversation and really tried to drive home is that this is a holistic approach to your overall marketing strategy. Every marketing that you do is for to get people into your marketing ecosystem and to make a decision to get into your funnel, right? And that happens with so many touch points. And so that can happen with someone binge watching a channel, but that could also happen with someone finding you from YouTube, going over to Instagram and sending you a DM, which that's happened to me many of times. And so I just want people to really understand the depth that we're talking about whenever we are talking about like leveraging a platform like from like YouTube, to where YouTube is doing the work for you to add more people into your world,
Mhm.
right? So instead of you having to have an email list of the same people for the same launch over and over and over, you have a consistent stream of people
Mhm.
that are joining your email list, or even finding you from YouTube and then join and then following you up on Instagram, joining your world. And
Yeah.
so it's just so cool to hear you talk about it from this more holistic and integrated approach, because that's really, really what I want. And for people who don't really know about the YouTube Life Challenge, is that like we have these types of experiences that are made to make sure that we can get members closer to launching or reviving their YouTube channel in a quick time span, right? So for the program promise, it's in 90 days, right? And so I want to make sure that everything that we do is geared towards making sure that you can get closer to that goal, right? There's so much other work to happen, right? When it comes to like getting the clients, getting the leads, but the first part of it is making sure that you have your channel launched or revived with a strategy, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just so great that you have these building blocks, and that you're building this amazing thing. And I'm just so happy to see how it's going. It's just so great.
Yeah.
Now, oh my gosh, I had another question for you. And I just got into a tangent. I'm so sorry, everyone. But when it comes to like what you're seeing as like your, what I like to call like your markers for momentum,
Yeah.
I probably would love it for people to see all of the other ways that you're measuring your success or your momentum, not only with YouTube, but like with your marketing strategy all together, so that they can really have a good understanding of like, this is marketing. This
Yeah.
is what it is, right?
Yeah.
This is the name of the game. Saying things the same time at this, like saying things over and over and over again, so that when people are ready to make the decision, they know you are the person for them.
Mhm.
And so and so I would love it if what are some of your like your people call them like KPIs or whatever, but like what do you use as like your measures of success, right? Like your measures that you're going in the right direction, and they can be both tangible and intangible. I think it'll just be really helpful for people to see how another marketer like looks at if they're moving in the right direction or not.
Yeah. So a lot of mine has been, since I've been promoting, of course, my lead magnet through my YouTube videos mostly,
Mhm.
just seeing more downloads of that. Honestly, I think that's where I need to work a little bit on my lead magnet, where I don't think I'm necessarily, it's the right, like the message is not communicated properly, I think. So that's different
Mm.
stories that I'm looking at that. I did have some, but I don't know if they came from YouTube, so I gotta see. That I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So I do see some of it, and then I see some from my like I use ConvertKit, so I see some from the Creator Network as well. So coming
Mhm.
into my email list, so it really I look at the numbers for the tangible stuff. So I use website traffic, so going to my landing page, and you've helped me set that Google Analytics up as well for that, so I can see like that's happening. But now to tie that in, like YouTube to my landing page, I'm trying to do that. So, anyways, that's one. And then I also see people going like purchasing or even like contacting me. So again, most of my interactions with clients and future clients have been through DMs on Instagram mostly. So you can see, just like how you were talking, someone may see something, but they're interacting with you somewhere else. They're not going to be DMing me or doing anything on YouTube, really. They're coming to me on Instagram because I'm like most active there. And so, like, I got a client last week who booked with me a VIP session after seeing some stuff in my stories, but this person has been watching my YouTube videos, I know. And so there you go. Like it doesn't, it's not a direct, like always, connection, but that's mostly where I get my clients because they just feel more comfortable with me in that way, right? And I love that, honestly, because I love that intimacy. So those are like kind of my tangibles. Like, am I actually booking clients? Are people, going to my website and at least checking out my services and things like that? And then getting my lead magnet, of course. And then the intangibles, I would say, just again, like just more more of the like new eyes on my stuff. So I can tell some of this because again, in stories, I'm checking out. I mean, I guess it's tangible, but I'm seeing who's looking at my stories. I'm seeing who's looking at my stuff. And so I keep an eye on these things because then I'm like, okay, this is possibly someone who's interested in my services down the road. And so they may not be right now, but I better make some content that is like appealing to them. And so that's kind of how I look at it. But I mean, if I'm able to push out content and then see everything kind of working together in a way and not like, oh, Prathi said this in one place, but then it's like this on the other, then it's kind of weird, right? So I keep an eye out for those things, but numbers are usually my thing. So I have to look at that stuff because I do it for clients as well. So even for myself, I do that. And so with YouTube, I'm keeping an eye on stuff right now because I've just started kind of pushing things out. So
I remember like you were one of the reasons why, well, you and a few other of the core members were one of the reasons why where I was like, okay, I think now it's time for the data stuff because I was like so scared. I was just so scared. I didn't want to overwhelm and like make everyone just feel like they have to quit.
Yeah. But I think that's like the next level, right? Like those are people who probably like the numbers and who want to like get those notifications and like feel good. Because every time you shared those, I was like, damn it, I want a notification like that. Yeah. I mean, it would be great to know where they came from. And so you showing that, like, again, it was like, wow, like we can actually see how everything is connected. That you paint the picture that way. You're like, look, someone came from a YouTube video that I did like a year ago, and it's still like, hello, they're coming into my world. So that's what you want to show, and that's what you're known for. So of course, like showing that is social proof, right? So that's another way to show social proof, but it's just showing that just like what the heck you're talking about, and like YouTube works. YouTube works.
So, I know we only have a few minutes left, but I would love to get your opinion on how I would love to know like how the Low Lift Club has helped you kind of accelerate all of like getting to this point with your YouTube channel.
Yes. I think it's helped, first of all, with having the right person who thinks like me, who I'm aligned with, and like keeping it simple, keeping it low lift, all that kind of stuff. So I think that was great. So it's always important when you're looking to join any of these coaching programs and things, just make sure that you align with those kind of things, right? Like those values. Like there's so many out there, but I just felt the vibe from you. So I joined. That's one thing. Second thing is the way you've just like listened to us give feedback in so many different ways, and then like made it even easier for us to keep executing and keep momentum up. I really love that because, you took that comment. Sorry. Arvin, I'm on a call. Yes, go. He wants to go to a movie, and so he's like, okay, can we go to the movie? Okay, fine. Anyway, where was I? You just taking feedback and just making it better for us, like, as you're building the community too, has been super like great, because you're not just like, let them figure it out. You're like, how can I make it easier for people to keep, building their channel, making it better, optimizing, whatever it is. So that's great. Just the way you've structured the community up to par, like really cool, and really like the way that I feel like people need those spots and momentum checks. And
Mhm.
then again, like you give different opportunities for people to interact and get feedback. So I love your calls, the strategy calls where you're actually taking like what is in your course, your 3 month, structure, like how you take us through that. And
Mhm.
then you're talking about those different things, like how to create, thumbnails, and like how to create it the right way, and how to come up with topics and things like that. Because each time I come to that, I actually get better at doing that as well. So
Mhm.
I think that's great. And I
Did
think,
you hear that
yeah,
that YouTube brand kits are coming to the club with like
yes,
thumbnail templates and everything are coming in
I
there
saw that.
too?
Makes it more easier. Yay. Yeah. And so just like the way you've just been actively and proactively, like just improving what you're giving to us without overwhelming us too. So right now, I don't feel overwhelmed at all, to the least. And I enjoy coming to the co-working, planning sessions, things like that. So yeah, I think that's, if you want to make this stuff work, I feel like you have to put in at least that time
Mhm.
to, give yourself that work time, right? Like to do,
Mhm.
make things happen. So like that whole live challenge, when you had that 2 hours, it's like, this is what we're going to do in this 2 hours. I finished that in 2 hours, and I was ready to go with my lives. Like, I'm like, wait, that's it. I just have to do the live now. So, you know, I think we need to make a commitment to ourselves to like at least put in like sometime during the week to work on this stuff. If we don't,
Yes.
it's going to keep dragging along. So you have those checkpoints and those different opportunities to work. So I love that.
Yes. And
Sorry,
then
long-winded, but yeah,
no,
I
it's
love so
so
many things about Low Lift Club.
yeah, no, I love it so much, and because you are also, and because you have launched your channel, right? Like now you get to have even more ongoing personalized support with the whole like channel audits and also like the YouTube funnel audits, right? And so
Yes.
you already had one of your audits already to where I
Yep.
was like where you were able to add me to your channel, and then I was able to look at all your content and stuff like that.
Yes, yes,
And
I forgot about that.
oh,
Yes.
oh, you're fine. Look, you have so much things. So you're totally fine. But I just wanted everyone to kind of just like know like we are such an amazing community, but also like you have like me as like a strategist in your back pocket, like who wants to see you succeed. And also like I'm like, add me to your YouTube channel so I can give you like these monthly insights each and every month and give you feedback. And so it's just so cool. I really do enjoy having you in there, and I love that you have launched your channel and like how you're leveraging the content in more
Yes.
ways than just YouTube. Like this, like you actually, oh my gosh, you actually have created a whole marketing like strategy around it.
Yeah.
And it's so great. Um, oh my gosh, is there
Mar-
anything? Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
can I say one thing? That audit, by the way, that you did for me was so good, because let me tell you what happened actually. So you know how you recommend vidIQ, like to just help you come up with like whatever, like keywords,
Yeah.
topic ideas, titles, blah. So I use that, right? And so then you know how you kind of get pulled into like how they recommend titles, like it's very content creator like, and like you may use words that you don't want to like use, like I shouldn't be saying hacks and things like that. I was
Yeah.
like, so I started putting in those words because they were recommending. I'm like, let me try this out. And so
Mhm.
I changed titles sometimes, like for my few my videos. And then when you did the audit, you said, hey, I think we were trying to get away from like you being like the hacker kind of person, but more like, like long-term strategy. So I'm
Mhm.
like, it was a great reminder to me. I'm like, yes, that's right. I'm not trying to do this. I need to stop, like, whatever. So then I changed a bunch of stuff, like my titles and everything again after I posted the video, right? And so that helped so much, your audit. And I was like, get back, remember what you were trying to do here. You're not trying
Mhm.
to like just get a bunch of views. You want the right views from the right
Mhm.
people. And so those audits, that audit, the first one helped a lot. And then I could immediately see changes in like the, daily views of my videos and stuff like that. So I just wanted to mention that. Okay, done.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. I think, look, I'm like, that's a great thing to end on. Should I start my giveaway now? I'm like,
Yes,
this is
you
so
should. Yes, you should.
great. Let me see who's in the chat because I feel like, hey, Shauna's here, Petra's here. Let me see who else is here. Naomi, you're here. Naomi, I feel like you're the only person that's not in the club that's here.
What is that thing that in their club or something? I don't know what.
We are all fam. Let me see.
Yeah, that's
here. Okay, Naomi's here. Okay, well, look, Naomi, I guess there's no point in me doing the whole giveaway. You're the only one that's in the chat that's not part of the club. Okay, so Naomi, you're going to get the $197 off of the Little Lift Club if that's what you still want. If things change, you can also get an audit. That's fine. But send me an email, support@jdigs.com. Did it go? Let me see. Let me back in. Send me that email. I'll get you the code to join at that discounted rate, and we'll go from there. I'm so happy to have you back in the club. Oh my God, it's gonna be so great. In the club, we are all fam.
Club.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, let me go ahead and wrap this up. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. If you want to learn more about Prathi and what she does, I'm going to make sure that I link all of those things inside of the video description, even her lead magnet, her freebie resource. I'm going to have a lot of other resources in there too, all about how to launch and revive your channel. So definitely take a look at that. Prathi, thank you so much for joining me today. And also, y'all, thank you for joining. If you have any questions for Prathi, feel free to reach out to her, okay? Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Let me end this.